Welcome to the All Financial Hour podcast with Steve All.
Contributing to a Roth IRA has its limits. For example, at age 50 and older, you're only allowed to contribute up to $8,600. And yes, that includes the catch-up. And if you make too much, like $168,000 for singles, $252,000 for married, you're shut out completely. But all is not lost. Here's wealth planner Tim Steffen. He tells Morningstar that there's an option that's called a backdoor Roth.
If you're not able to contribute because your income's too high and you don't have any IRA dollars to convert, the backdoor is a way to do that. So you put money into the traditional IRA and then wait some period of time, sometimes a day, sometimes longer, depending on what people want to do. And then you convert that to a Roth IRA. So backdoor Roth isn't really a thing. It's really just a traditional contribution followed by a conversion, which anybody can do that. That's a perfectly legitimate strategy.
Whoa. That's, I'm going to let you finish your question and then I'm going to comment on that one.
I was just going to say, on the surface, it sounds really straightforward, but I can tell looking at your face, there's more to this.
Oh, don't. When I see this right here, this is a backdoor Roth being taught by somebody that doesn't know anything about taxes or backdoor Roths. It is not a product. It's a two-step process where you have to make a non-deductible contribution to a traditional IRA, and then you can convert it. But the part that most people miss is this. I'm just going to go to an example I've seen 3 times this year. Advisor told them put $8,600 into an IRA account. We're going to open the IRA account. We're going to put that money in there. And then, as he put it, a day, a month, we're going to convert it to a Roth. So you just put it in there. But the thing that they miss is this little thing called a pro rata rule. And if you want information on that, call the office, send it, ask them to send the pro rata rule information. We've had so many problems with people doing this wrong that we made up something to go talk about it. But the pro rata rule says if you've got $1 million in your IRA accounts in other areas, you have to include that in the calculation with that $8,600 you're trying to convert, which is about a minute percent. Less than 1%. So if you do the 86 and put it in the quote Roth account, most of it's taxable because you got this pro rata rule, and your accountant is going to kill you. When I talk about Roth conversions with people, it is the idea around it of it is you cannot have any other IRA accounts and do a backdoor Roth at the exact same time. If you do, you have this little bitty percentage that's going to make every distribution from the rest of your life, and your accountant's going to have to fill out a Form 8606 for the rest of your life. It's a royal pain if you do it wrong. Can it be fixed? Yes. Is it a pain? Yes. So before you try anything like this in the do-it-yourself world, call. Let's talk about this, because I hate it when people give tax advice that should not be giving tax advice, and they tell people that they can do things, and then they do it. And I've seen it in a couple of cases where I said your advisor was wrong and your accountant was wrong also. And then I usually think, don't shoot the messenger. If your income's too high and you want to talk about backdoor Roths or taxes, please give me a call, because I believe that reducing or eliminating taxes is the greatest thing you can do for a successful retirement. But you have to do it right. Give us a call. Ask for a tax analysis. We're going to bring in that tax return. And when I look at that tax return is when I've looked at your 8606 to see if you did your backdoor Roth conversions properly. And over the last couple of years, I've seen 3 or 4 of them that were done wrong. Please don't do that. Give us a call. Ask for a tax analysis. Allow myself and my team to assist you the proper way to do a backdoor Roth.
Absolutely. And as you just talked about here, reduce and eliminate taxes. Find out how you could do that today with this complimentary tax analysis. 636-230-8824. 636-230-8824. That website, yourmoneymattersstl.com. We saw this Social Security question from a Money.com reader. They said they don't need the benefits, but what they plan to do is claim it at full retirement age anyway, and then they want to turn around and invest the checks and let the money grow. Now, again, on the surface, this sounds kind of like, all right, well, if you don't need the money, this is kind of a decent strategy, but there's got to be something we're overlooking here.
I hear this a lot, and people will come to me, and depending on the numbers, most of the time, it doesn't work out. And it depends on your expectations of return. So if you sit there and say, I can make 15 to 20%, well, I don't know exactly where you're going to get that at on a regular basis. If that was true, you could probably be better off doing what you're doing. But what if the first year you do that or the second year, the market goes down 10, 15, 20%? Because you can't guarantee which way the market's going to go, and you can't guarantee returns. And I look at it to the fact with Social Security, every year you delay after full retirement age, it increases by 8%. And a lot of people think, well, what if I only wait 4 months? Well, it's 0.75% per month. So it's not like you have to wait the whole year. It's a cliff. If you wait 6 months, it's going to be about 4% higher. And then the other part of it is you get the inflation for both, because I get a lot of people that says, I'm starting my Social Security now because I need to get those inflation adjustments. From the time that you were 62 on, once you qualified for Social Security, all the inflation adjustments get added to your check. And I look at it for the other part of it is, well, if you're still working, 85% of your Social Security is going to be taxed. So therefore, you've got a tax drag on those returns also. So it's not as simple, and depending on how you invest it, because it's after-tax money. If you do it for income, that's taxed as ordinary income. If we do it for gains, that's going to be a capital gains tax. A lot of people don't think about all of the consequences of investing their Social Security. And I think the thing on Social Security, it's not really about maximizing my Social Security. It's about optimizing my Social Security. I know that's a play in words for some people. Me and my wife, we both wait till we're 70. Optimize is, should we start at different times? I look at it to the point that I think the most important thing when I'm working with a couple around Social Security is the lower of the two. Take the money when you basically can qualify, and it's not going to get penalized by your earnings, because you make around $24,000 plus or minus. If you make over that, they're going to start penalizing you because it's supposed to be for retirement. And I want the person with the higher Social Security to delay as long as possible, age 70 if possible. Why? Because when one of the two people pass away, the larger Social Security amount is the amount that stays. If it's me and I'm the higher earner, I keep my check. If I pass away, my wife will get her check and enough of mine as a spousal benefit to basically cover what my Social Security was. So that's where we have to look at it and say spousal benefit. Because if you or your spouse is going to live past age 80, delaying is probably the best thing that you can possibly do. And I'm not saying you couldn't invest it and do better, but Mike, I hope the markets do exactly what you want for the next 8 to 12 years, because you get a couple bad years in the middle of that, Social Security would have been a lot better off taking that check. So let us sit down with you. Run a Social Security optimization. I can't do it in a vacuum. We have to gather in all the information. I can't sit here and say it's good for your spouse to delay till age 70 if I don't know if you have the money to be able to live and delay to age 70. So we have to gather all the information, put it together, and set up a plan that makes sense for you, because everybody's situation is different. Everybody's situation is different. I'm a bigger fan in give me a guaranteed income versus a probable income. If I'm going to try to replace my paycheck, I want guarantees, not probabilities. And I believe that strategy is based more on probability that I can do better. What if you don't? You don't get to go back. Give us a call now. Ask for that Social Security optimization.
Yeah, and kind of going back to what you're talking about, it's about having that no-so plan, right? Not that I guess so plan. And again, with this Social Security optimization report, you're going to be able to gather that information, see exactly how and when Social Security is going to fit into your income and financial plan. 636-230-8824, 636-230-8824. So it turns out most Americans think they've got a handle on retirement, but they're getting one key number wrong. It's how long they're going to live. A new report by TIAA found that only 1 in 3 can correctly estimate the life expectancy at 65. That misunderstanding leads people to save less because, listen, they're planning for the wrong finish line. And it gets worse. The majority of those who get this wrong are handling retirement planning on their own. These are the DIYers we talk about all the time. Steve, explain to us, a DIY in your retirement plan, doing all that without a financial advisor just sounds crazy.
Well, the idea that I get when you start to look at it, age 65. When we first started in the industry, 80 to 85 was what we planned to. Most plans were done to 85. Why? Life expectancy for a male was around 83 to 85. But you got to remember, life expectancy says half the population dies before that age, half the population dies after that age. So they are going to live longer. Now, we run almost all of our plans now to age 95, an extra 10 years. Why? People are living longer. We have less guarantees in a lot of people's things. Now, if you've got Social Security and a pension with the cost of living adjustment, that's a whole different scenario than I'm taking the money out of my savings plan. So those are the things that we have to look at. The biggest thing that is overlooked for most DIYs is inflation. I'm going to retire at age 60. 23 years from now, when I'm 83, the cost to do the same thing doubles. If I was spending $5,000 a month then, now I'm spending $10,000. If I was spending $10,000 a month now, it's going to cost me $20,000 to do the exact same thing. People don't want to lose their buying power. And inflation is the thing that they really, really don't look at it. What about market returns? What if you just happened to pick the day and the day that you picked to retire would have been 2000? Or 2007 with a 2-year downturn from then. How are you going to do that? And I think those are the things that you need to look at. And I believe that creating an income stream is the biggest question that most people don't have the answer to. How are you going to replace your paycheck when you make that decision to retire? And the other thing that gets forgot, taxes. We were told many years ago you're going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement. So taxes are still going to be important during your retirement years, optimizing Social Security. And the other thing that gets left out of most plans is how am I going to cover a long-term care exposure if it happens? So if you're doing this yourself and you don't have an answer for those 6 to 7 things I just talked about, give us a call. Ask for that comprehensive retirement plan. Allow us to walk you through what is going to be necessary for retirement. And that's like I said, I think you might be shortchanging yourself if you say, I want to run out of money at 84 to 85. Because remember, half the population lives beyond life expectancy. Give us a call. Allow us the opportunity to do that comprehensive retirement plan.
Thanks for listening to the All Financial Hour podcast.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business All Insurance Group, LLC, AIG. All Financial Group, LLC is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by All Insurance Group, LLC, AIG are not subject to investment advisor requirements. IPW and All Insurance Group, LLC, AIG are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. All Financial Group LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by All Financial Group LLC.
This radio show is intended for information purposes only.